strikes back.
Hello, Axilla here for Failhouse Gaming, and this is Tutorial Tuesday number 2. And it's on the subject of how to make a good deck. Now I promised this last week, and I've been talking a lot to Critical Hit and doing a lot of research on the internet to find out what other people's ideas are on how to make a good deck, and I've come up with this list of things you want to kind of check and think about when making a deck to make it the most effective and most efficient deck you possibly can with the cards you have. So, here we go. So, the list of things that I recommend you should do when building a good deck are as follows. You want to firstly decide what you want your deck to be. You then want to decide how you're going to win, how you're going to get to your win, a suitable mana curve for your deck, and then what's going to stop you getting to your win, and ways in order to prevent what's going to stop you. They're like the basics of what you want to do when building a deck. But also when looking for building a deck, you want to look at card synergies, so stuff that goes well with each other. For example, right off the bat, Claw, give your hero +2 attack, and then Savagery. That's 2 mana, you deal 2 damage to a minion without taking any damage. That's not too bad. That's a little synergy right there in front of us. And other than card synergies, you want to look for good and bad cards. Now, a good card are things like cards that do 2 things for 1, or cards that, you know, are very efficient for their cost. For example, a Mark of Nature is a good card, in my opinion, because you can either give a minion 4 attack, which could buff it enough for you to get a win, or for you to kill something that you couldn't already kill, or if you were dying and you had a minion out, or you could play a minion, then you could give it +4 health and taunt in order to prevent yourself from dying and not allowing your opponents to break through your taunt creatures that easily. That's an example of a card that does 2 things for the cost of 1. You can do either or. Wrath is another 2 for 1. Deal 1 damage to deal with those early game minions, and you get to draw a card. That's very, very useful. Obviously it's got the other effect, but you want to try and draw a card as often as possible. So, yeah. They're examples of good cards, and examples of bad cards are... let's find a bad card. Okay, we'll go into the neutrals for this. Now, Bloodfen Raptor, I consider a bad card. There are exceptions to this, so don't get me wrong, this isn't a bad in every single case. This is a most of the case bad card. Unless you're playing a Hunter Beast Synergy deck, Bloodfen Raptor isn't that good. Think about it. If you're playing a Paladin deck, like I have over here, and you play Bloodfen Raptor, why? When you could play instead an Acidic Swamp Ooze. It's the same mana cost, does the same stuff, but it has an effect which could be situationally useful. Same with a Knife Juggler. Same mana cost, same stats, but it has an effect. Much more useful. So unless you're doing something that runs with beasts, a Bloodfen Raptor is generally a bad card. So that's an example of a bad card. Other examples are direct damage and direct heal cards, because they're effectively not doing anything to help you control the board. Examples of this would be Mind Blast for Priest. Now it deals 5 damage to the enemy hero. Great, you dealt 5 damage, but that's 5 damage that you could have been dealing to, or that's an extra card that you could have to kill a minion, so that you can deal as much damage as you want with your minions. Mind Blast is generally considered a bad card because it doesn't do anything to help you control the board. It could, in certain cases like Murloc decks or very early aggro decks. Direct damage to the enemy heroes can be very good because it can give you just that little bit of damage to finish them off when they start to stabilize and your deck starts to become not quite as good, which is towards the mid game. So they can be good in those circumstances, but generally you're not doing anything to make the game better for yourself if you're playing direct damage cards. And I said direct heal because unless you're really healing a minion so that it can trade off against things and stay alive and all of that good stuff. If you're healing yourself, you're mostly stalling the game, unless the card does something else. For example, Holy Light for Paladin is a bad direct heal. Restore 6 health. There are not many minions with more than 6 health, so you'll want to be using it on yourself. And yes, it could keep you alive, it could keep you in the game, but it's just stalling what seems to be inevitable at that point. It can be useful, don't get me wrong, all of these cards I'm calling bad can be very useful, but most of the time they're not. An example of a good healing card would be Holy Fire. Deal 5 damage to anything, and you get to restore 5 health. So that's another case of 2 for 1. You'll potentially kill a minion, or deal that last bit of damage to the enemy hero, and you'll get to have 5 health back. So that's a 2 for 1 card. That's an example of a good heal and damage card. It's not direct damage to a hero, but it does heal your hero, so consider that. Now that I've gone over the list of how to build a good deck, as well as little things you want to look for when building a deck, for example the card synergies and the good and bad cards, I'm going to show you an example of one of my decks which is quite reliable, and the thought process behind every single card is basically a deck tech on this, but just for the example of how to build a good deck. Firstly, I decided what I wanted to do. So I wanted to build a deck, a hunter deck which had lots of beast synergy and comboed well with beasts, which instantly puts Unleash the Hounds into the deck. Fantastic card. Then I decided on my win condition. Unleash the Hounds, there we go, there's the win condition, that's the beast synergy. How do I get to having Unleash the Hounds by win condition? Well, I want to have lots of low mana costs, or lots and lots of beasts out, and then I use Unleash the Hounds and I swing for a lot of damage. The way to get lots and lots of beasts out is to have them all costing very little mana and doing them all on the same turn and then using Unleash the Hounds. That is a very efficient way of maximising the effectiveness of Unleash the Hounds. So that's what I did. I added loads of low mana cost beasts. Fantastic. How do I get that many low mana cost beasts in hand? Well, I wanted some card draw. Starving Buzzard, it's a beast. Every time you cast a beast you draw a card, you can draw more beasts. Perfect, that's ideal. Then I went into a suitable mana curve. Well, I've already said I want lots and lots of low mana cost things in order to make my Buzzard more effective and my Unleash the Hounds more effective. So, I want to prioritise the region of 1 to 3. As you can see here, success. After I've decided my suitable mana curve and achieved that for the most part, I then wanted to think about things like what can stop me. Well, what stops this deck would be dying before I get to combo off, so I want lots of early game removal, as well as taunt. Taunt stops my combo because I can't just hit them in the face with all the damage that I can. So I want to have a silence or removal for those taunt creatures. That's why the Iron Beak Owl's in there. It's very cheap, it's a beast, and you get to silence the taunts. Very, very useful. The rest of it is basically removal. As you can see, explosive shots, multi-shots, kill commands, one deadly shot. The Jungle Panther is effectively another kill command. The fact you put it out there, it's a beast, so it can go off with your combo if you haven't used it yet, but it makes your kill commands deal 5 damage instead of 3 if you have one just dormant out there. I do occasionally take out the deadly shot and put in a second Panther, and I keep swapping between those two, so I'm thinking 1 for 1 for now is good. Another thing, Eagle Horn Bow, good removal. I don't mind losing life as long as I don't die, and then as soon as I get my combo off I should normally win, so that's very good. So that's what's going to stop this deck. And I also wanted all the card synergies, so like I said, the Buzzard with the beasts, the Owl is a beast, the Jungle Panther helps with my deadly shot, helps my kill command, and all of that. Now, 1 mana cost, if I just type in beasts down here, it comes up with all these other beasts that I could have had. I could have had a parrot, but that's not that good. That's 2 mana for a 1/1, and I get a pirate. Well, I don't run any pirates. Direwolf Alpha, it's 2 mana for a 2/2, and adjacent minions have +1 attack. That's actually very good, because that gives me a total of 4 extra attack, if you think about it. Could be fantastic. However, I'm not too sure I have ran it in the past, but after doing lots of testing, I found that animal companions were just slightly better for the chance of getting Misha or Huffer in order to deal with something big. It's just slightly better. Hungry Crabs, again, very, very good cards. You can use that to stop Murloc aggro decks, which can be too aggressive for even explosive traps. So Hungry Crabs could be a very good card, and I have occasionally had just the one in there, and they've never actually been useful because I've never managed to draw them against a Murloc deck, but again, that's another beast you can consider. Those are both examples of good cards that I could have in here that don't. Bad cards would be Angry Chicken. Now, Angry Chicken is a fantastic card, and I love it because it's hilarious. However, I have no way to buff my chicken in order for its enrage to take effect. So, unless I was playing Houndmaster or a Shattered Sun Cleric or something along those lines, Angry Chicken wasn't going to be useful. It's 1 mana for a 1/1, and Stone Tusk Boar is 1 mana for a 1/1 with Charge, Young Dragonhawk's 1 mana for a 1/1 with Wind Fury, Timberwolf, other beasts have +1 attack. They all do something more useful than the chicken. Bloodfen Raptor, as I said earlier, not good unless using the Synergy deck. It's 2 mana for a 3/2. However, I don't really have the space for it. I want lots of 1 mana beasts. Bloodfen Raptor is decent damage, but it doesn't do anything. If I play it, I want it to be able to do something. For example, the only time I will ever play an Ironbeak Elf in my combo over a 1 mana beast is if I need to get rid of a taunt creature. Because it's 2 mana, it costs quite a lot of mana, so I don't want to play that unless I have to. So having a Bloodfen Raptor there, I don't want to play that unless I have to. You have to think about it like this. A Bloodfen Raptor with Unleash the Hounds is 4 damage. However, 2 Young Dragonhawks with Unleash the Hounds is a ridiculous amount of damage. That's 8 damage, because they do 2 damage and then Wind Fury, another 2, or a Timberwolf and a Young Dragonhawk. That's again more damage. That's 6 damage, or is it 8 again? No, that's 8 damage again. Yeah. So those 2 good. Timberwolf and Stone Tusk Boar. The only thing that is the same efficiency as a Bloodfen Raptor when doing my combo are 2 Stone Tusk Boars. That also deals 4 damage. However, that's 1 beast to draw 1 card, or 2 beasts to draw 2 cards. As you can see, Bloodfen Raptor not particularly that good for the deck that I'm running. If I could have space for it, I might do, but I'd more likely run Hungry Crabs or Direwolf Antler. So yeah, that example of good and bad cards for this hunter deck, and the process I went through when making it. So I'll just go over that briefly again. I wanted a combo hunter deck. I was going to win with a big combo with Unleash the Hounds and Starving Buzzards. I was going to get to having enough beasts to Unleash the Hounds by having my Starving Buzzard draw me lots of beasts. That's how I get to my win condition. A suitable mana curve, well, I want everything to be very, very low cost so I can do as much a turn as I possibly can, so that's why my mana curve looked like that. And what's going to stop me? Well, early aggression, so I have lots of AoE removal, as well as snipes in order to stop them bringing out larger things, and taunt creatures, which is why I have silence and again more removal. Big taunt creatures, very, very detrimental to my strategy. So there. That's the process of what I went through when building the deck. This is the deck. Perfect. Well, thanks for watching. I've been Axilla for Failhouse Gaming, and if you like this, hit the like button. Anything I missed or any suggestions of what I should do next time, throw them down in the comment section. And if you want to be notified when new videos come out, hit the subscribe button. I've not been putting out so many videos recently, and that's because I'm just trying to calm down and get a good quality of content out regularly, which is why I'm doing these Tutorial Tuesdays. So next Tuesday, however, I won't be releasing a Tutorial Tuesday video since I will be over the weekend very busy with BlizzCon. Excellent. I'm going to go meet up with all my friends. We're just going to have a big reunion and watch BlizzCon together. It'll be great. So yeah, there won't be a Tutorial Tuesday next week, but the week after, hopefully you guys will have submitted a topic which I can cover if there's anything you're unsure of. And like I said before, if there's anything you disagree with, please throw it down in the comment section and I'll answer any questions or give my opinion on anything. That's it. Thanks for watching. I've been Axilla for Failhouse Gaming, and until next time.